Hi everyone, it's Kristin from the Student Support Office. This is just a quick video on how to complete an extenuating circumstances form correctly. Before I run through how to complete the extenuating circumstances form, you do need to check whether an extension or an extenuating circumstances is most appropriate for what you do need. There is a big difference between an extension and an extenuating circumstances claim. Extensions are a short-term extension of your deadline, so up to 10 working days. You must apply for an extension online and do have a look at the how to apply for an extension video on Brightspace. Extensions are considered by your module leader and you must apply for an extension within 2 working days of the deadline. Extenuating circumstances claims, known as ECs, delay the submission till the next assessment period. So for example, if you have a piece of work due in February, an approved EC will move the deadline until the resit period. You need to use the EC form to apply for an EC and they are considered by the registry team. You should apply for an EC within 5 working days of the deadline and you will need to provide evidence. For more information about extensions and ECs, please do check Brightspace, email us, the Student Support Office, or come along to the drop-in session and we'll be more than happy to help figure out which one might be best for you. You can get the EC form from the Student Support Office by just emailing us and asking for the EC form. First, you'll need to complete your details in the first 4 boxes, and then you can just double-click in the boxes below to complete that section. In section 2, in the first box, you need to give us the module code and the module name. You can find this on Brightspace or under My Details on MyHood. In the assessment type box, you need to tell us what your assessment is. Is it a report, a piece of coursework, an in-class test, an exam, a presentation, a group presentation, etc., etc. If you're applying for multiple assessments for the same module, please put 1 assessment per line. In the assessment title box, you need to tell us what your assessment is called. It could be coursework 2 or logbook. This helps us identify what bit of the assessment you are applying for. If you're applying for an in-class test or an exam, you need to tell us whether you attended or attempted the in-class test or exam. Usually this will be not applicable if it's any other pieces of work. Finally, please tell us when your deadline was. If you had extensions, please tell us your extension deadline too. Make sure you are applying within 5 working days from the deadline. Section 3 of the form is where you explain your situation. You need to tell us why and how your situation has affected your ability to complete the work on time. Put as much detail as possible in this section, as the registry team will use this to base their decision. Aim for at least a paragraph to explain what your situation is or was and how it has affected you engaging with the work and submitting the work on time. You have up to 5 working days from your original deadline to apply for an EC. If you do miss this, you do need to explain why you haven't engaged with the process sooner. Have your circumstances affected your ability to get in touch with us? If so, tell us how and why. You must address any delays in submitting your form in section 3, as without this, the EC team will reject your claim. In section 4 of the EC form, you need to advise us what evidence you have or will be getting to support your EC claim. If you do not provide any evidence, the registry team may pend your claim to allow you time to provide evidence. If you do not supply any evidence, your request may be rejected. You should send all evidence to the Student Support Office and tell us in your email that it is evidence for your EC so we know what to do with it. If you don't have any evidence straight away, send us your EC claim anyway to process and then forward your evidence separately. Remember to sign the form at the bottom. This can be done electronically, and to date the form. Then send your EC form and any evidence to the Student Support Office from your university email address. Once you send your form to us, we'll check this for you. Please do amend your EC with any additional suggestions we might provide. Then we'll submit this to the registry team for consideration. If you haven't submitted any evidence, you may get an email requesting this. Please send your evidence to the Student Support Office. Registry will notify you of the outcome of your EC claim by email within around 14 to 21 working days. If your EC is approved, then you will submit your assessment in the next assessment period. So, just to summarise, ECs and extensions are completely different. Do make sure you know what you're applying for before you apply for it. Explain how your circumstances have affected your ability to complete the work on time with as much detail as possible in section 3 of the form. Remember to provide evidence to support your claim. Try to apply within 5 working days of the deadline, and if you haven't, tell us why you weren't able to submit your claim within 5 working days of the deadline. Send your form and any evidence to the Student Support Office from your university email address. If you need any help completing your form, or if you have any questions about whether an extension or an EC would be most appropriate, or if you need any advice in general, please do contact us as soon as you can, and we'll do our best to help. You can email us on the Student Support email address there, and we are available from 8:30 till 4, Monday to Friday.